The day the alien ships appeared in Earth's sky started like any other. Blue skies over Washington, D.C. slowly filled with clouds as John Miller prepared for work. He fixed his tie in the mirror and grabbed his briefcase. As the United Earth, government's top diplomat, he had meetings scheduled all day with representatives from various countries. None of that would happen now. His phone rang. It was Susan Clark, his assistant. "John, turn on your TV," she said, her voice shaking. John grabbed the remote and switched on the news. The image made him freeze. 7 massive ships, each one shaped like a curved blade, hung in the sky above major cities around the world. One floated above Washington, D.C., casting a shadow over the National Mall. "I'm on my way to you," Susan said. "The president wants you at the White House in 30 minutes. The next few hours passed in a blur. Military leaders shouted over each other in the Situation Room. Scientists tried to establish communication with the vessels. Religious leaders called for calm. Through it all, John sat quietly, watching and listening. "We need our best people on this," the president finally said, looking directly at John. "You're our top diplomat. We need you to make contact." 3 days later, John and Susan stood in a small shuttle rising toward the largest alien ship. 5 other diplomats and 2 military officers accompanied them. No one spoke during the ascent. What could anyone say when heading to meet the first confirmed intelligent alien life? The shuttle docked with a soft thud. The doors slid open to reveal a long corridor lit with a pale blue glow. Standing at the end were 3 tall figures. The aliens called themselves Varkians. They stood nearly 8 feet tall on 4 legs, with 2 arms ending in hands, with 7 fingers each. Their skin shimmered with colors that shifted like oil on water. They spoke through translator devices, attached to what John assumed were their throats. "We welcome Earth representatives," said the tallest Varkian. "I am Overseer ZXstar of the Varkian Collective." John stepped forward. "I am John Miller, representing the United Earth Government. We come in peace and friendship." ZXstar's colors shifted to a deep purple. Peace is acceptable if certain conditions are met. The Varkian Collective requires new resources and territories. Your planet has both. The first meeting did not go well. The Varkians spoke of Earth as if it were already theirs. They talked about processing certain areas for resources and relocating human populations. When John tried to suggest alternatives, ZXstar dismissed him with a wave of his long fingers. "Your species is young," the alien said. "You have not yet reached proper space travel. We offer you protection and guidance in exchange for reasonable access to your world." "We need time to consider your proposals," John replied carefully. "Our leaders must discuss this with all nations of Earth." ZXstar's colors swirled with what John was beginning to recognize as irritation. "We grant you 3 Earth days." The shuttle ride back to Earth was tense. Colonel Patricia Harris, one of the military officers, broke the silence. "They're not here to make friends," she said. "Those are warships. I counted weapons systems all over their hull." "I know," John replied, "but we need to try diplomacy first. We can't match their technology." For the next 2 days, Earth's leaders debated their options. Some wanted to surrender to the Varkians' demands. Others wanted to launch an immediate attack. John argued for continued negotiations. "We need to understand them better," he told the emergency United Nations session. "They think differently than we do. Maybe we can find common ground." On the 3rd day, John and his team returned to the Varkian ship. This time they brought detailed counter-proposals, limited resource-sharing agreements, cultural exchange programs, and scientific cooperation. ZXstar listened without interrupting. When John finished, the alien's colors turned a cold blue. "Your proposals are insufficient," ZXstar said. The Varkian Collective does not share resources. We require primary access. Then perhaps we can discuss specific regions where... John started. Further discussion appears inefficient, Z Extar interrupted. It seems a demonstration is required. The alien pressed something on the wall. A large screen appeared, showing a view of Earth from space. The image zoomed in on a small island in the Pacific Ocean. This uninhabited landmass will serve as our demonstration, Z Extar said. Observe. A beam of intense light shot from the Varkian ship. On the screen, the island erupted in flame. In seconds, it was gone, leaving only a circle of boiling water. Human delegation gasped. Susan covered her mouth in horror. That island was not uninhabited, she whispered to John. It's Gardner Island. We have a research station there. 12 scientists. John felt a cold rage build inside him. He had seen the personnel files for the Gardner Island team just last week. Dr. Maria Patel and her team were studying coral restoration. Young scientists working to heal the planet. You killed 12 people, John said, his voice deadly quiet. Z Extar's colors flickered briefly. Our scans detected no significant life forms. 12 human beings were on that island, John said, standing straighter. Scientists, researchers, people with families. An unfortunate error, Z Extar replied. However, it demonstrates the importance of compliance. Your species cannot withstand our technology. The other diplomats looked at John. Some seemed ready to surrender then and there. Colonel Harris's hand moved toward her sidearm, though she knew it would be useless. John took a deep breath. When he spoke, his voice was calm but cold enough to make even the Varkians pay attention. Until now, Overseer Z Extar, this was a diplomatic matter between our peoples. But now you've made it personal. The Varkians' colors swirled in confusion. I do not understand the distinction. You will, John promised. He turned to his team. We're leaving. As they boarded the shuttle to return to Earth, Susan looked at John with concern. What do we do now? She asked. John looked back at the massive alien ship. Now we show them what happens when humans get personal. In the White House Situation Room, John delivered his report. The President and Joint Chiefs listened in silence. They think we'll surrender, John concluded. They expect us to recognize their superior technology and give up. And what do you recommend? The President asked. John looked around the room. We tried diplomacy. It failed. Now we show them that humans don't respond to threats by cowering. We show them what happens when someone kills our people. They have technology far beyond ours, General Ben Rodriguez pointed out. Yes, John. Agreed. But they don't understand us. They don't understand what making it personal means to humans. Colonel Harris, who had returned with John, stepped forward. Sir, I've been developing something with the research team at DARPA. It's not ready, but ... Get it ready, the President ordered. And get me everyone. I mean everyone. Call in. Every scientist, every hacker, every engineer. Tell the other nations we're going to need everything they've got. As John left the meeting, he stopped by the memorial wall in the White House corridor. Photos of those who had died in service to their country lined the wall. Soon, 12 more faces would join them, the Gardner Island team. They thought it was just an empty island, he whispered to the photos that weren't there yet. They didn't understand what they were doing, but they're going to learn. Above Washington, D.C., a Varkian ship continued to hover, its crew confident in their superior position. They had no way of knowing what was coming. They had no way of understanding what happened when humans said, "Now you've made it personal." And in the days that followed, they would learn the hard way. The Varkians expected Earth to surrender within 24 hours. They were wrong. General Lisa Reeves sat at the head of a long table in an underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around her sat the best minds Earth had to offer. Scientists, soldiers, hackers, and engineers from every nation waited for her to speak. "We have 48 hours before the Varkians expect our answer," she said. "They think we'll give up. They think we'll bow down because they have better weapons." She paused and looked at each person. "We won't." Lisa pulled up images of the Varkian ships on the large screen. "These aliens made a big mistake. They killed our people and thought we would just accept it. They don't understand what happens when humans say, 'Now you've made it personal.'" She turned to a man with tired eyes and messy hair. "Dr. Alan Gutierrez, tell us what you found." Alan stood up. For the past 3 days, he hadn't slept more than 2 hours at a time. "We captured some of their communications when they first arrived. Their technology is advanced, but their security isn't as good as they think." He tapped on his tablet and showed lines of strange code on the screen. "Their ships talk to each other constantly. I found a way into their network. We can't control their systems, but we can listen. And maybe, just maybe, we can confuse them." Next, Lisa looked at a woman in a lab coat. "Dr. Olivia Martinez, what about your team's findings?" Olivia pushed her glasses up. "We studied the biological samples we collected during the first meeting. The Varkians have a unique nervous system. It's sensitive to certain radio frequencies that don't affect humans." She smiled slightly. "We can hurt them without firing a shot." As each expert shared their discoveries, a plan took shape. Not a plan to win through superior firepower. Earth didn't have that. But a plan to win through cunning, determination, and the one thing the Varkians didn't expect: human unpredictability. Captain William Donovan listened carefully. As commander of the newly built ship USS Defiant, he would play a key role. "So I'm the bait," he said when the plan was explained. Lisa nodded. "Your ship will draw their attention. Make them think we're launching a desperate, direct attack." William grinned. "While the real action happens elsewhere. I like it." Across the world, preparations moved at incredible speed. In Russia, quantum computing experts worked with American programmers to create a virus that could infiltrate Varkian systems. In Japan, engineers modified satellites to broadcast the frequencies Olivia's team had identified. In a hidden facility in the Sahara Desert, 30 small stealth craft were loaded with special equipment. The Varkians noticed none of this. Their sensors watched for missile launches, for nuclear activity, for conventional threats. They didn't look for the unconventional. In orbit, Overseer ZXTAR received reports from his subordinates. "The humans appear to be in disarray," one reported. "Their communications show panic and disagreement among their leaders." "As expected," ZXTAR replied, his color shifting to a satisfied green. "Prepare to receive their surrender." What the Varkian didn't know was that the panicked communications were fake, a show put on specifically for their listening devices. The deadline arrived. The Varkians sent a message to Earth's leaders. "Your time for consideration has ended. Submit your terms of surrender." They received no answer. Confused, ZXTAR ordered another message sent. Still nothing. Then, Varkian sensors detected movement. A single human ship was rising from Earth, heading directly toward the Varkian flagship. "They send one vessel?" ZXTAR's colors swirled with amusement. "Scan it. The ship is armed, but poses no threat to our defenses," an officer reported. "Perhaps it carries their leaders to offer surrender in person," another suggested. "Or perhaps it is a desperate final attack," ZXTAR said. "Target the vessel. Destroy it before it comes within firing range." The Varkian weapons locked onto the USS Defiant. Captain William Donovan saw the targeting systems activate exactly as planned. "They've taken the bait," he told his crew. "All power to shields and evasive maneuvers. Let's give them a good chase." The Defiant twisted and turned, avoiding complete destruction, but taking enough damage to look like it was fighting for its life. The Varkian ships concentrated their attention on this single target, just as Earth had hoped. While the space battle drew all eyes, 30 smaller craft slipped away from Earth. These ships, coated in materials that absorbed Varkian scanning signals, carried teams of specialists. Led by Lieutenant Frank Jordan, they approached the Varkian fleet from behind. Team Alpha, target the command ship, Frank ordered. Teams Bravo through Echo, take the support vessels. Remember, we're not trying to destroy them. Just attach the devices and get out. The small craft latched onto the hulls of the Varkian ships like remora fish on sharks. Teams in spacesuits placed strange devices against the alien metal. Then, retreated. At the same time, Alan Gutierrez sat in his lab, fingers flying over his keyboard. Initiating cyber attack now, he said into his headset. The virus he created began flowing into the Varkian network through the communication channels they'd left open. In her lab, Olivia Martinez watched her screen as satellites around Earth changed position. Frequency disruptors ready, she reported, awaiting final command. In the command center, General Lisa Reeves watched everything unfold. The Varkians still didn't realize what was happening. They thought they were dealing with a simple, desperate attack by the Defiant. Execute final phase, Lisa ordered. Across Earth, people looked up at the Varkian ships with fear and anger. Many had lost hope when they saw the alien vessels arrive. But humans are at their most dangerous when pushed to the edge, when someone has made it personal. On the Varkian command ship, Z-Xstar was growing frustrated. The human vessel was damaged, but somehow still evading total destruction. Increase power to forward weapons, he ordered. End this game? Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Screens flickered. Communications between vessels cut out. What is happening? Z-Xstar demanded. Unknown, Overseer, an officer replied, colors flashing with panic. Our systems are being corrupted. We are receiving strange data streams. Isolate the networks. Cut all external connections, Z-Xstar ordered. I cannot, the officer said. Something is already inside our systems. At that moment, the devices attached to the hulls of the Varkian ships activated. They began broadcasting the specific frequencies. Olivia had identified frequencies that attacked the Varkian nervous system directly. Throughout the fleet, Varkian crew members collapsed in pain. Some lost consciousness. Others could barely move. Z-Xstar felt it too, a horrible buzzing in his mind that made it impossible to think clearly. This ... This is impossible, he gasped. How could they ... On the bridge of the Defiant, Captain William Donovan received a message from Earth. Phase 3 complete. All Varkian ships affected. You're clear to approach and broadcast the message. William smiled. Let's go tell them who they're dealing with. The Defiant moved closer to the Varkian flagship. Despite its damaged appearance, it moved with purpose now. William opened a channel to the alien vessel. Attention Varkian Command, he said. This is Captain William Donovan of Earth. You killed our people. You made it personal. Now you're seeing just the beginning of our response. We will board your vessels. We will take control, and then we'll discuss new terms. In the command center. On Earth, General Lisa Reeves watched the Varkian ships drift helplessly in orbit. Prepare boarding teams, she ordered. It's time to show the Varkians exactly what humans are capable of when someone makes it personal. The boarding of the Varkian ships went more smoothly than anyone expected. The aliens, suffering from the effects of Olivia's frequency weapons, could barely stand, let alone fight back. Human teams in spacesuits moved through the curved hallways. Securing each vessel room by room, Lieutenant Frank Jordan led the team that boarded the Varkian flagship. He had never seen anything like the inside of the alien vessel. The walls seemed alive, shifting colors like the Varkians themselves. Strange symbols glowed on control panels. But Frank didn't let himself get distracted. He had a job to do. Team Alpha, secure the engine room, he ordered through his helmet radio. Team Bravo, with me to the bridge. The Varkians they encountered lay on the floor, their colors dull and sickly. Some tried to reach for weapons, but their movements were slow and clumsy. The humans didn't kill them. Instead, they secured them with special restraints designed by Earth scientists based on what they had learned about Varkian physiology. When Frank reached the bridge, he found Overseer ZX Star slumped in what appeared to be a command chair. The alien's colors were pale, almost white with pain and shock. Secure the commander, Frank told his team. 2 soldiers carefully restrained ZX Star while others took control of the ship's systems. Bridge secured, Frank reported back to Earth, awaiting further instructions. Back on Earth, in the underground command center, General Lisa Reeves received the reports from all boarding teams. Within 2 hours, all 7 Varkian ships had been captured intact. Phase 1 complete, she announced to the room full of military and scientific personnel. Now for Phase 2. Dr. Alan Gutierrez had already connected his computers to the Varkian network. With the ships under human control, he had full access to their systems and databases. I'm downloading everything, he said, not looking up from his screens. Their technology, their history, their star maps, everything. Dr. Olivia Martinez monitored the condition of the Varkian prisoners. The frequency effect will wear off in about 6 hours, she warned. We need to decide what to do with them before then. John Miller, who had been the first to speak with the Varkians, stepped forward. I want to talk to ZX Star again, he said. Bring him to the neutral meeting station. I want him to understand exactly what happened here. 3 hours later, John sat across from ZX Star in the same room where they had first met. The alien looked diminished somehow, his tall frame hunched, his colors muted. 2 human guards stood nearby, but they weren't really necessary. The Varkian was still weak from the frequency attack. You've taken our ships, ZX Star said. His translator voice sounded flat. How is this possible? Your technology is primitive compared to ours. John leaned forward. That's what you still don't understand. We didn't beat you with superior technology. We beat you because you made it personal. ZX Star's color shifted slightly in confusion. This phrase, you used it before, made it personal. Our translators cannot properly define it. When you killed our people on that island, John explained, you crossed a line. You showed us that diplomatic talks wouldn't work. You showed us that you didn't value human life. It was a tactical demonstration, ZX Star argued. A standard procedure when dealing with species who resist integration into the collective. John shook his head. And that's why you lost. You treated this like a standard military operation. But for us, it wasn't about tactics or strategy. It was about those 12 people you killed. It was personal. While John spoke with ZX Star, humans around the world celebrated their victory. But in secret facilities, scientists and engineers were hard at work. They knew this might not be over. In a laboratory in California, Dr. Kevin Ward studied the Varkian drive systems. He had spent his career being called crazy for his theories about dimensional manipulation. Now, looking at the alien technology, he saw that he had been right all along. Their ships don't just move through space, he explained to Diane Powell. And Gregory Thompson, 2 engineers assigned to his team. They fold it. They create shortcuts. Can we replicate this technology? Diane asked, fascinated by the glowing engine components they had removed from one of the smaller Varkian vessels. Doc Kevin smiled. We can do better. I think we can improve it. On the other side of the world, in a facility hidden beneath the Gobi Desert, Major Sandra Phillips led the cyber warfare division that had helped disable the Varkian fleet. Now she and her team dug through the alien data that Alan had downloaded. "They're not alone out there," she told her team as they reviewed star maps and fleet positions. "The Varkian collective has conquered multiple worlds, and according to this data, they've already sent a distress signal." In orbit, Captain William Donovan supervised the study of the Varkian flagship, now under human control. His engineers were learning to operate the alien systems, preparing for what might come next. "The weapon systems are unlike anything we've ever seen," reported his chief engineer. "They don't just destroy targets, they erase them from existence." William nodded. Grimly, "Figure out how they work. We might need them soon." At the United Nations headquarters in New York, now protected by a captured Varkian shield generator, world leaders gathered to discuss the future. For the first time in human history, every nation worked together, united against a common threat. "The Varkians have sent a message to their homeworld," the Secretary General announced. "We don't know how long it will take to reach them or how long before reinforcements might arrive. But we must be ready." Back in the neutral meeting station, John continued his conversation with ZX-Star. "Your people made a critical mistake," he said. "You judged us by our technology, not by our spirit. Spirit is not a tactical consideration." ZX-Star replied, though his tone suggested less certainty than before. "For humans, it's everything," John said. "Throughout our history, we faced enemies with better weapons, larger armies, more resources. Sometimes we lost. But often, especially when fighting for our homes, our families, our way of life, when it's personal, we find ways to win that our enemies never imagined." ZX-Star was silent for a moment. Then he asked, "What will you do with us now? With our ships? Will you destroy the Varkian collective?" John shook his head. "We're not like you. We don't want to conquer or destroy. We just want to live in peace. But make no mistake, if your people come back looking for revenge, they'll find we've learned a lot from your ships. And we'll be ready." As John spoke, Earth prepared. The technology from the Varkian vessels spread around the world. Factories, retooled to build new weapons and defenses. The captured ships were studied, their secrets unlocked one by one. Humanity had awakened. The sleeping giant was now fully alert, driven by the most powerful force humans knew, the burning determination that came when someone made it personal. And somewhere across the stars, more Varkians were coming. They would arrive expecting to find a conquered world. Instead, they would find a planet united and ready, with their own technology turned against them, and a species that fought with not just weapons, but with heart. They would learn what the first Varkian fleet had discovered. Too late. Never make it personal with humans. 3 weeks passed since the humans captured the Varkian ships. Earth changed in ways no one could have imagined before the aliens arrived. Countries that had been enemies for generations now worked together. Scientists shared discoveries freely. The whole planet united with a single purpose: to be ready when more Varkians came. Dr. Kevin Ward stood in his new laboratory, built inside a mountain in Switzerland. Around him, 50 of the world's best physicists and engineers worked on the Varkian drive systems. Kevin had barely slept in days, but his eyes shone with excitement. "We've done it," he told Diane Powell and Gregory Thompson. "We understand how their dimensional folding works." Diane looked up from her computer. "And we've improved it, just like you said we could." Gregory nodded. "Their method creates tunnels through space. Ours creates doorways. It's more stable and uses less energy." Kevin smiled. "Now we need to build it. Full scale." Across the world, in what had once been a secret military base in Australia, Major Sandra Phillips watched her screens with growing concern. Her team had been analyzing the Varkian data non-stop. "We have a problem," she told General Lisa Reeves over a secure video call. "The Varkian reinforcements are coming sooner than we thought." Lisa's face showed no fear, only determination. "How? Soon? Based on their communication patterns and what we've learned about their FTL capabilities, less than 2 weeks." "How many ships?" Sandra took a deep breath. "At least 30. Maybe more," Lisa nodded. "I'll inform the Defense Council. Keep monitoring." In orbit around Earth, the captured Varkian ships had been modified with human controls. Captain William Donovan now commanded a fleet of these vessels, with human crews trained to operate the alien technology. They practiced maneuvers daily, preparing for battle. William floated through the bridge of what had once been the Varkian flagship, now renamed Earth Defense Vessel Victory. Human technicians had replaced the alien control systems with interfaces. Humans could understand more easily. "Status report," William called out. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Maria Rodriguez, looked up from her station. "All systems operating at 95% efficiency, sir. The weapon modifications are complete and tested." "And the new shielding?" "Dr. Martinez's team says it will protect our crews from the neural frequencies if the Varkians try to use our own trick against us." William nodded, satisfied. "Good. Continue battle drills. I want everyone ready when they arrive." Meanwhile, in a specially built facility in Geneva, John Miller met regularly with Overseer Z. Extar. The Varkian was not exactly a prisoner, but not free either. John had been tasked with learning everything he could about Varkian society and culture. "Your people continue to surprise me," Z. Estar admitted during one of their sessions. His colors now shifted in patterns. John was learning to read. This particular swirl indicated something like reluctant respect. "How so?" John asked. "You've mastered our technology in weeks. It took the Varkian collective generations to develop." John smiled. "That's another thing you didn't understand about humans. We adapt quickly, especially when motivated." "By making it personal," ZXstar said. "I believe I am beginning to grasp this concept." John nodded. "And there's something else you should understand. The ships that are coming, we're ready for them." ZXstar's colors darkened. "You cannot hope to defeat a full Varkian battle fleet. They will not underestimate you as we did." "Maybe," John said. "But they haven't met us yet." 10 days later, Earth's long-range sensors, enhanced with Varkian technology, detected the approaching fleet. 35 ships, much larger than the first 7, dropped out of what humans now called fold space, just beyond the orbit of Marsdot in command centers around the world. Humans prepared. This was the moment they had been working toward. General Lisa Reeves addressed the combined Earth Defense Force from her command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. Her face appeared on screens in every military installation around the globe. "The Varkian reinforcements have arrived," she said calmly. "They expect to find their advance fleet in control of Earth. Instead, they'll find us waiting for them. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Remember Gardner Island." In orbit, Captain William Donovan addressed the crews. Of the 7 captured Varkian ships, now piloted by humans, "This is the moment we've prepared for," he told them. "We are Earth's first line of defense. The Varkians think they're coming to finish what they started. We're going to show them what happens when they mess with humans." As the Varkian fleet approached Earth, they sent messages to their advance ships. They received no reply. Confused, they scanned the planet, detecting the Varkian vessels in orbit, but unable to contact them. The commander of the Varkian reinforcement fleet, Grand Overseer Krazen, was puzzled by the silence. "Advance scan of the human world," he ordered. His officers reported their findings with growing alarm. The humans have somehow captured our advance fleet. They've modified our ships. And they single quotes improved some of our technology. Kai Reason's colors flashed with disbelief. Impossible. They are a primitive species. Nevertheless, his science officer reported, the evidence is clear. They've adapted quickly. Krazen considered his options. The humans had surprised them, but his fleet was still far superior in numbers. Prepare for full attack pattern. We will reclaim our vessels and complete the subjugation of this world. As the Varkian fleet moved toward Earth, something unexpected happened. The space between Mars and Earth rippled like water. Suddenly, 20 large objects appeared directly behind the Varkian fleet. These were Earth's secret weapons, satellites equipped with Dr. Kevin Ward's improved dimensional technology. Each one began broadcasting the special frequencies that Dr. Olivia Martinez had discovered could disrupt Varkian nervous systems. Caught by surprise, many Varkian ships lost control as their crews collapsed. But the Varkians had learned from their first defeat. Some ships had shielding that protected them from the frequencies. Half their fleet is disabled, reported Lieutenant Rodriguez on the Victory's bridge. The rest are continuing toward Earth. Captain. William Donovan nodded. Exactly as we expected. Execute Phase 2. The 7 Earth ships, formerly Varkian vessels, moved into formation. Behind them, from hidden bases on the moon, 50 smaller craft rose into space. These were new ships, built by humans using a combination of Earth and Varkian technology. The battle for Earth had begun. The Varkian reinforcement fleet, though partially disabled, still outnumbered the human forces. But numbers weren't everything. On the bridge of his flagship, Grand Overseer Krazen watched with growing concern as the human ships deployed in a formation he didn't recognize. They fight like no species we have encountered, his tactical officer reported. They don't follow any known combat doctrine. K. Reason's colors darkened. Because they made it personal, he said, remembering the last transmission from Overseer ZX Tar before communication was lost. As the space battle raged, Earth itself was preparing its final surprise. In Dr. Kevin Ward's laboratory, the scientists activated their greatest achievement, a full-scale dimensional fold generator. It's working, Kevin shouted as the massive device powered up. Dimensional fold stable. The device didn't move ships through space like the Varkian technology. Instead, it moved space itself. And right now, it was moving the space containing the entire Varkian fleet. In orbit, the Varkians suddenly found themselves not near Earth, but near Jupiter, millions of miles away from their target. What has happened? Krazen demanded. How did they move us? The answer came in a transmission. From Earth, from John Miller himself. Varkian fleet, John said, his face appearing on their screens. You came to conquer us. Instead, you found that humans defend what's theirs. We can send you even further away with our new technology. Or you can agree to leave our solar system and never return. The choice is yours. As Krazen considered his options, he realized a difficult truth. These humans were unlike any species the Varkian collective had encountered before. When pushed, when threatened, when someone made it personal, they became the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. Grand Overseer Krazen floated in his command chair, his color shifting between deep red and black as he considered the human ultimatum. His fleet hung in space near Jupiter, teleported there by human technology that shouldn't have been possible. Half his ships were disabled by the neural frequency attack. The others were damaged from the brief but intense battle. We should retreat and return with our full armada, suggested his second dash command. K. Resin's colors flashed angrily. The Varkian collective does not retreat. The humans have surprised us twice now, said his science officer. They adapted our technology and improved it in weeks. They united their entire planet against us. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach. Kurozen remained silent, thinking. The humans were supposed to be an easy conquest, a divided planet with primitive technology. Instead, they had proven themselves clever, adaptable, and surprisingly dangerous when provoked. Finally, he made his decision. Open a channel to Earth. On Earth, in the Geneva facility, John Miller sat with Overseer ZX Star, watching the events unfold on a large screen. When the communication from K. Resin came through, John looked at ZX Star. "Your Grand Overseer wants to talk," he said. "Any advice?" ZX Star's colors had changed during his time with humans. The harsh, cold patterns had softened, becoming more complex. "Be respectful, but firm," he said. K. Resin respects strength. John nodded and activated the communication link. Kursan's face appeared on the screen, his colors bright with contained anger. "Human representative," Kresin began, "you have shown unexpected capabilities. The Varkian Collective acknowledges your successful defense." John kept his face neutral. "Thank you, Grand Overseer. Have you considered our offer?" "I have," K. Reason replied. "I propose an alternative. Return our captured ships and our personnel, including Overseer ZX Star. In exchange, the Varkian Collective will spare your world from immediate conquest." John smiled slightly. "That's not how this works, Grand Overseer. You're not in a position to make demands." To demonstrate his point, John nodded to someone off-screen. Suddenly, the space around the Varkian fleet rippled again. When it stabilized, they found themselves even further away, near Saturn. "That was just a small demonstration," John continued. "We can send you so far into deep space that it would take years for you to return, even with your fold space technology." Krisen. Colors paled. "What do you want, human?" "Peace," John said simply. "Recognition of Earth as a sovereign, independent world. A non-aggression pact between humans and the Varkian Collective. And our ships, our people? We will return Overseer ZX Tar and your crews as a show of good faith. Most of your ships in this fleet can be repaired and will be returned to you as well. And the 7 ships from our advance fleet?" John's expression hardened. "Those stay with us. Consider them payment for Gardner Island and its 12 researchers." K. Reason was silent for a long moment. Then his color shifted to a pattern ZX Tar had never seen before, one that indicated reluctant acceptance. "Very well," K. Reason said. "I will agree to these terms, pending approval from the Collective High Command." "Good," John replied. "We'll begin preparations to return your people and repair your ships. In the meantime, you'll remain near Saturn where we can keep an eye on you." After the communication ended, John turned to ZX Star. "Will he honor the agreement?" "Yes," ZX Star said. K. Reason is proud, but practical. He knows when he is outmatched. 1 month later, representatives from 23 spacefaring species gathered at a neutral station in the Alpha Centauri system. The Galactic Council, as humans would come to know it, had called an emergency session to address the situation between Earth and the Varkian Collective. John Miller led the Earth delegation, accompanied by General Lisa Reeves, Dr. Olivia Martinez, and Dr. Kevin Ward. They entered the circular chamber with a mixture of awe and determination. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions watched them curiously. The Qualurian delegate, a gaseous entity contained in a translucent sphere, floated to the center of the room. "This council recognizes Earth as a new participant in galactic affairs," it announced, its words translated by small devices each delegation carried. "The humans have requested formal recognition of their sovereignty and independence." The Varkian representative, not K. Resin, but a higher-ranking official, moved forward. "The Varkian Collective acknowledges Earth's status and withdraws all claims to the Sol system, Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Kolarian delegate pulsed with what seemed like surprise. "This is unprecedented," it said. "The Varkian Collective has never withdrawn a claim once made." What changed? The Varkian officials' colors shifted uncomfortably. The humans proved formidable. John stepped forward. "We didn't want this conflict," he explained to the gathered representatives. "We sought peaceful contact. But when the Varkians killed our people, they crossed a line. They made it personal." "This phrase," said a crystalline being from the far side of the chamber, "others have reported it. What does it mean, to make something personal?" John considered how to explain a concept so fundamental to human nature, yet apparently foreign to many alien species. "Throughout human history," he began, "we've observed that people who avoid conflict, who seek peace, often become the most dangerous fighters when defending something they care about deeply. When someone threatens not just our resources or territory, but our people, our values, our way of life, we call that making it personal. And humans respond to personal threats with extraordinary determination." The chamber was silent as the representatives processed this. "Your species defeated the Varkian Collective," said a tall, insectoid delegate. "You could demand reparations, territory, technology. Yet you ask only for recognition and peace. Why?" Lisa Reeves stepped forward to answer. "Because that was never our goal. We didn't fight for conquest or gain. We fought because we had to, because our people were killed. Now that the threat is gone, we have no interest in prolonging conflict." As the council session continued, Earth was formally recognized as a sovereign world. The non-aggression pact with the Varkian Collective was registered and witnessed by all council members. Before the Earth delegation departed, ZX Star, now serving as a cultural liaison between humans and Varkians, requested a final private meeting. "With John, your phrase, 'Now you've made it personal,' has spread throughout the galaxy," ZX Star told him. "It is being added to first contact protocols for all species." John raised his eyebrows. "Really? As what?" "As a warning," ZX Star said, his color showing what John now recognized as amusement. "When dealing with humans, never make it personal." As the Earth ship departed for home, John looked out at the stars. Humanity had faced its first galactic challenge and emerged not just victorious, but respected. They had shown the galaxy that despite being newcomers, humans were a force to be reckoned with, not because of superior technology or numbers, but because of the strength they found when defending what they cared about. Across the stars, word spread from species to species. The humans of Earth seemed peaceful, collaborative, and reasonable, unless you made it personal. Then they became something else entirely, something that even the mighty Varkian Collective had learned to fear. And so a new rule entered the Galactic Handbook. Treat humans with respect, seek their friendship and cooperation, and above all else, never, ever make it personal. The end.